Hi Aquarius, welcome to your September 2020 reading. I normally read for Virgos, but in this particular month, I decided to read for every sign. So here I am. Welcome to your reading. And I wanted just to say that I use different oracles as I'm doing this, and it's a combination of numerology with astrology, traditional tarot, and animal cards. And yes, it's a large variety of different oracles. However, it works for me, and it allows me to have an idea of what's going on with you, but also what are the messages that can assist you in this moment, in this cycle, to find the clarity of what you need to know. So just keep in mind that it's a very overall reading, and it's not going to describe your situation perfectly. However, the messages, you can adapt them to your needs. All right, Aquarius, let's begin. So the card that is opening up your reading, it comes with this energy of bravado and your warrior guides. And it comes with the number 41. And right away, when I see those warrior guys, I'm thinking, okay, there's some sort of conflict here, some sort of spiritual conflict taking place in the life of Aquarius. Of course, I'm talking about the people that are connecting to this reading. Bravado means intimidation. Right away, when I go down that path, intimidation, I'm thinking, okay, so you are going through a situation where you're being intimidated, or maybe you are intimidating yourself. And the reason being is because, as you're looking at this situation, you are on one hand sick and tired of what's happening, and on the other hand, you're afraid to lose what you believe or think that you have attained up to this point. And that can create a big conflict, mentally and emotionally. Interesting enough, when I was connecting to your energy, I felt this sense of heaviness in my heart. I felt like my mind went under a fog. And that once again confirmed that I am connecting to those Aquarius out there that are currently having this major conflict with a loved one. Could be a partner, could be a child, a family member, but here I feel like it's taking me more to relationships. Situation where, there is definitely a conflict where you might be, or you're being intimidated by this person. In the way they're responding to the situation, there is a sense of intimidation where you feel like you want to rebel and you want to say your piece, because you know more than well that there have been many cases before where you sense and you knew that something wasn't right, and that person was telling you that it was. And now you've come to a point where you can't deny it anymore. You cannot look the other way. And you're seeing that a lot of what you felt in this moment was true. And you somehow decided to trust this person and go against your own instincts, and now you're regretting it. Now you're angry. Now you want to just scream murder. And you have every right to be. You have every right to be. Unfortunately, though, under that particular state of mind, it's very difficult to find a solution. And you may very well be in a place right now where you don't care about a solution. You're more in a place of letting go, of releasing all of those doubts and frustrations that you've been carrying for a while, that has been going against your own well-being. And this is where I'm not, going to stop you. If that's how you feel, if you are in a place right now of anger, resentment, and, whatever it is, go for it. Let it out. However, just keep in mind that from this place, it's very hard to find the clarity of knowing what to do. If you want to have, that solution. So we see here under this energy, right? The Leo card, we're being reminded of the 5th house of astrology. Ultimately, remember that what you really need to pay attention is what your heart tells you, what you feel deep within yourself. Okay? Here is showing me that there was a situation where, there was a betrayal. Somebody was betrayed. There was a heartbreak. Something where created a lot of affliction and a lot of emotional pain, to the point where, you had to stop. Something had to stop. Something had to end. And although, of course, it was, no other choice, this is causing us still a lot of heartache, a lot of pain, a lot of anger. And at the same time, there is some sort of intimidation here. So I'm not sure if now that everything has come out to the surface in the way that you responded, this person that you're dealing with, they are behaving in a way where they are not taking responsibility for their lies. You might be confronting this person and saying, what about all these times where I presented this to you, you were not honest, and they're just kind of like being a little bit egotistic, maybe a little bit, their ego, like they're not accepting it. They're not taking responsibility of their actions, and that's frustrating you in so many ways. And I can understand that. I can totally understand that. However, I am here, Aquarius, to help you find some sort of solution, resolution. And what the Oracle is saying here is that just remember, because here comes the next card, and it comes with a 2-2. 22. So the number 2 is being emphasized, and it's talking about our self-worth, self-esteem, the beliefs that we have that strengthen that self-esteem, the role models that we've had in our lives, our parents, family members, the things that we've learned from them, the beliefs that we hold in relationship to relationships, in regards to relationships, how we project those beliefs. So under this denial is telling me here that there are some things here that you need to reevaluate, and it has to do with the way you think about relationship. Here Pluto is coming out, emphasizing the house of Cancer, which talks about that. It talks about our ideas of relationships, what we think they should be about, the role of each person, but also, what we've learned from our parents, things that we picked up in our childhood that we perceived about our parents, things that we thought that it worked for our parents, and now we're doing them and it's not working for us. So there is a need for reevaluation here of our core beliefs. Some things need to be let go and, replace for something better. With the energy of denial here, we're also being reminded that it takes 2 to tangle, and that, to reflect, to use the energy of the Hermit to reflect, because it's not just what the other person had done, it's also what you agreed to do. How you have contributed to this situation, believing that things were going to get better, when in reality what you were doing was negotiating with your own trust, with your own instincts. So it's not until you face that and you be honest with yourself that you will not find yourself in a situation like this. Because a lot of times it's not what other people think or the story that they're telling us, is what we buy into. So to be able to transform and change our beliefs that are not working for us, we have to be honest and also take responsibility for all of those moments where we bought into a story. It's not necessarily the story that person told us, it's what we told ourselves, knowing intuitively and instinctively that that was not true. So a lot of the frustration that you're having now and the hurt and the pain is not necessarily for what that person did. It's because you believe them. You trusted them more than you trusted yourself. And that makes anybody angry. I've been there. So, give yourself the opportunity to feel all of that, but don't remain in that energy long term. Because being in that energy is only going to cause you to continue to perceive things from lenses that are very distorted. And ultimately, what you want to be is happy. Ultimately, what you want to be is in a situation where somebody, really appreciates you. But in order to be in a situation like that, you have to do it to yourself. So this is where you, once again, are being reminded that stand up for what you believe to be right. Not until you're faithful to that, things will not work for you. Don't bargain for the things that you believe is true to you. And above all things, always be honest. Don't be afraid to look into those emotions that are making you feel doubtful, insecure, unsure, or not good enough. Because those emotions are the ones that sometimes makes us question or makes us negotiate and buy into what other people are saying. So this is a moment where, you need to be very honest, go through this process, be patient with yourself, be honest, and then put all of that into a balance, which is the next card that comes out here, business, and it comes with 52, which 5 + 2 is 7, a very dynamic energy. And it comes with Venus, which I like a lot because we know that Venus relates to love, prosperity, abundance. And is saying here that ultimately things are going to start moving into the right direction for you. But you have to make sure that things are being processed through the energy of Libra. So one of the things that you're going to know, whether this is good for you or not, or deserves another chance, is when you put into a balance the actions of that person next to your actions. And whichever side is heavier, it will tell you the answer to your question. And even if you decide to give this person another opportunity, because it's showing me that somebody here is going to come and make you an offer, or is going to want to have a new beginning, another go, another opportunity. And you may feel a sense of buying, into a weakness of, well, what if? What if this time works? I love this person. Look at all the things that I get. Spirit is saying, well, if you come to that place, don't lie to yourself. Be very conscientious of what you're saying yes to. Don't come from a place of denial and believing this time around that this person is going to change, especially for those of you who are going through this situation for the first time. Don't buy into your own story, especially if your instincts are saying, watch out. One thing is that you're very aware of what you're up against and deciding, and another thing is you telling yourself a lie so that you can continue Very different. You know, here I see that there is this energy here of the Ten of Swords. It's like, yeah, we want to start again, but look at this energy. This is not a very healthy place to be. This talks about being exhausted due to our emotions, our frustrations, our hurt and pain, not being able to let go of the memories of, you know, how we've been lied to or betrayed. So, you know, under these circumstances, it's very hard to start fresh in a relationship and make it work. Look at this too, energy. So the oracle is saying here, if you want this new beginning under these circumstances, don't waste your time. Because before you know it, you guys are going to be back to the same thing that created the problem before. You have to let go of this. And once you let go of that, and then there is an opportunity here for things to get better. Here it talks about also opportunities of, you know, finances through work, improving those finances through work. Of course, that the situation here for some of you could be that you're in a relationship with someone who you have a business together. And that could be one of the reasons why you're kind of working through this and biting through it, trying to work it out so that you're not at a disadvantage here. And if that's the case, Spirit is saying, be careful. Be careful what you tell yourself once again. Here is saying that you will be able to overcome the obstacles as long as you're being honest. And as long as you're taking responsibility for your part. It's not saying, hey, look up and pay attention only to how that person is behaving because they're responsible for your misery. It's not saying that. It's saying you need to take responsibility above all things. That's a priority. And you need to, you know, clear things away before you deal with this situation. And that's what's asking you through this cycle. And I'm saying this, Aquarius, because when I do my readings, I base it in cycles. It means that right now with the energy that I'm tapping to, it requires you to deal with this. And this is not permanent. You know, everything is always in constant change. So by next time, you know, the energy may be different, but it's going to be different based on what you've done, how you felt, and the choices that you made. So this is a cycle that, you know, the length of it is going to be dependent on how you're able to work through all of those emotions. And I'm referring to the negative ones. Because once you're in the positive energy, things start moving really quickly. But right now, there are difficulties here. There are challenges here. And of course, I'm not really focused here on exactly what happened to you. It's more about what you need to do in order to overcome these challenges. So, you know, as I said in the beginning, this could be with a daughter or a son or a family member, somebody who is promising you things that are not coming true. And you're giving them opportunity after opportunity. And they are still taking advantage of you. You feel being taken advantage of. It could be a relationship where your partner is putting all of these conditions. And yet, when it's time for them to prove to you that they're there for you, they're not. So there are many different scenarios here. But the point of the matter is that you are now frustrated, resentful, and angry, and tired and sick of it. And very well be in an emotional space of blaming the other person for all of your miseries. And Spirit is saying, yes, you're allowed to feel that way. However, ultimately, the only way you can transform this and avoid for things like this to continue to happen in the future is to see your part, how it is that you, in moments that are of great importance, in those moments for you to be honest with yourself, what are you telling yourself? because maybe you are also contributing for the behavior of that person. You are in some way, without knowing, helping them to behave in that way with you. That now what started to be in a way of helping somebody, they're taking advantage of you, but you're letting them. So our compassion is a very elastic energy, because sometimes we think that, to get somebody out of trouble is a very compassionate thing to do. To forgiving somebody and taking them back will be the ideal thing, when in reality sometimes it is through our continuing being in a situation that is not healthy for us, it's promoting more of that behavior towards us. So keep that in mind, because here it comes loud and clear. And when I look at your energy, is the card that is showing you here is the elephant, which is a very wise energy. Somebody who wasn't just born yesterday and doesn't know any better. You know better. However, it comes with the hyena. So this tells me that behind this beautiful person, wise and loving, sometimes there is a personality that tends to be very resentful and responds in a very negative way, because it doesn't seem to be very good at letting go, at forgetting or forgiving. You may say, well, I forgive you, but then you turn around, and as soon as that person behaves in a funky way, you may be, bringing back stuff that happened in the past. Of course, if this doesn't relate to you, Aquarius, don't take it personally. I'm not talking about you, but it's talking about, if there's something like this that needs to be released. So I think that I've been very clear. A time to reflect and to reassess our beliefs, these concepts that we are having in this moment that are not working for us, and not going into denial, being very aware, right? And putting into balance the positive and the negative through actions. Okay, Aquarius, this is all I have for you. The best of luck to you, my friends. Thank you for watching. Until next time.